Justice of Pakistan Qazi Fayez Issa has criticized men for depriving women of property rights, calling it a violation of Islamic teachings. Speaking at a justice conference in Islamabad, he highlighted the constitutional mandate for women's representation across all sectors, emphasizing equal treatment under Article 25.
Male members of society deprive ladies of their Quranic shares, which in addition to breaking the laws of Pakistan is a sin, and the matter takes forever to come to the Supreme Court. And because there's no downside, you keep the lady involved in litigation, and even if she ultimately wins, you will have had the benefit of the property for a considerable period of time.
In more legal news, Lahore High Court directed the Prime Minister's office to instruct civil and military agencies, including the Intelligence Bureau and Inter-Service Intelligence, to avoid contacting judges or their staff. This follows a complaint from an anti-terrorism court judge who reported harassment after refusing to meet intelligence officials. The court emphasized the need to protect judicial independence and set the next hearing for July 8th. In economic news, Pakistani stocks faltered on Friday, the last session of the fiscal year, despite passing the tax-laden budget 2024-25 aimed at securing a new IMF loan. The KSE 100 index started positively but lost momentum due to profit-taking and inflation concerns. Major factors included fiscal year-end selling pressure and harsh tax measures in the budget. The index closed at 78,444.96, down by 83.29 points or 0.11%. Iran's snap presidential election heads to a runoff next week as Reformist-backed Masoud Pezeshkian and hardliner Saeed Jalali emerge as the top contenders, neither securing a majority in a vote with a record low turnout. The Ministry of Interior reported that only 40% of eligible Iranians voted, the lowest since the country's 1979 revolution. Pezeshkian garnered over 10.41 million votes, followed by Jalali with 9.47 million. Conservative candidates Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf and Mustafa Pourmohammadi were eliminated, with Ghalibaf endorsing Jalali for the runoff. The election followed the recent helicopter crash that claimed the lives of former President Ibrahim Raisi and others, prompting the snap poll within the constitutional timeframe. Despite endorsements from heavyweight reformists, Pezeshkian's campaign struggled to mobilize voters disillusioned by economic challenges and past protests. The runoff on July 5th is expected to see higher turnout, presenting a clear choice between Pezeshkian's reform agenda and Jalali's hardline stance. Security concerns marred the election's end, with 2 security forces killed in an attack on their vehicle transporting ballot boxes in Sistan-Baluchestan province. Israeli airstrikes in the central Gaza Strip's Bearish refugee camp killed 4 civilians and injured several others, according to Wafa. The wounded were rushed to Al-Aqsa and Al-Wada hospitals for urgent medical care. UN estimates suggest 60,000 to 80,000 people displaced from Shujaa due to Israeli bombardments this week. Residents fled with little belongings amid airstrikes by planes, tanks, and drones, leaving behind essential supplies and personal items. The Palestinian NGO network Rehabilitation Sector reports 10,000 people have developed disabilities due to Israeli attacks on Gaza. Destruction of infrastructure and rehabilitation centers has severely limited access to services, increasing vulnerability to malnutrition and chronic illness. Amid Israeli military operations in Gaza, appeals continue online for trapped Palestinians in Shujaa. Reports indicate recovery of 5 bodies following Israeli forces' withdrawal from the Sharkush area in Rafah. Iran has issued a stern warning to Israel, cautioning against any full-scale military aggression in Lebanon, describing such actions as potentially triggering an obliterating war. The statement was conveyed by Iran's mission to the United Nations in an ex-post late Friday, emphasizing that all options, including full involvement of all resistance fronts, remain on the table. Tensions escalated between Israel and Hezbollah along their shared border amidst ongoing conflicts in Gaza since October 7th. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's recent remarks about preparing for a significant operation on the Lebanon border heightened fears of a broader conflict. In response, Israeli forces reportedly carried out airstrikes targeting several Hezbollah sites in southern Lebanon early Saturday. According to Israeli sources, these strikes targeted military installations and infrastructure in areas including Zabkin and Keem. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant stressed that while Israel is prepared for various scenarios, a political solution remains preferable. However, he reiterated Israel's capability to inflict significant damage on Lebanon if provoked into war. Hezbollah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, echoed defiance, warning of an unrestrained response to any major Israeli offensive against Lebanon, emphasizing there would be no restraint, no rules, and no ceilings in such a scenario. As tensions mount, several countries, including Germany, Canada, the Netherlands, and the United States, have advised their citizens to either leave Lebanon or refrain from traveling there due to the heightened risk of conflict.